Mhuri yeZimbabwe tine hurukuro hombe tine nyaya iri very important yandoda kuti mhuri yeZimbabwe muteerere. Taona zvakakodzera kuti tinge tichikupai, tichakusiyai makateerera kuna comrade ava nemashoko makuru makukutu avainawo. Tichakusiyai makateerera panyaya iyoyo. Inyaya iri kuitika against Emerson Mnangagwa. Ndofunga muri kuziva zvinhu zviri kuitika kuti munyika zvinhu hazvina kumira zvakanaka, asi pane mashoko echokwadi, mashoko ane udzamu, mashoko akarema ari panapa. Ndinokurudzira kuti kana uri mutsva gara wasubscribe utena on notification bell kuitira patinoposta mavideos uye uri kutanga kuona mavideos edu. Ndichakusiyai makateerera kubva kumukuru uyo motiudzawo zvamunofunga.
Do you want pointers? Okay, go to section 91, subsection 2. Read that, memorize that. Go to section 328, subsection 7. Read that, memorize that. Go to section 2, read that, memorize that. Go to section 3, read that, memorize that. Become informed. Become educated. Education is not all about going to a classroom and cram, stuff, right there, and then you come out there and say, I am educated. No, it takes place in every area, facet of our life. Let's educate each other. That's civic mobilization, ladies and gentlemen. Because when we get educated, when we come calling and say, ladies and gentlemen, we want to go, if they give us the referendum and say, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming now. We want to tell you about this referendum and why we are saying no. Remember that copy, that constitution, that certificate that we gave you, that you hold dear. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, go to that section, go to that section, go to that section. And this is why we are saying, this is why we are saying no to this, no to that, no to this, no to that. You become armed. You'll have your armor. You can defend the vote. You can defend yourself. You can defend the constitution. You can repel the enemy arrows. And that enemy arrow is the change of that constitution. It's an enemy. That right there is an enemy. Is an arrow of an enemy. It needs to be repelled, deflect it, and send it back to them. Return to sender. So we can do litigation. If we want to go down that route, we can go to the courts. You see, where I find this to be something that boggles the mind. Justice Malala in 2016, he observed in a case involving the Zimbabwe Lawyers for Human Rights and Minister of Justice that as Zimbabweans, as citizens, we are guardians of the Constitution when institutions have failed. As a Zimbabwean, this was in 2016, in a case involving the Zimbabwe Lawyers for Human Rights versus Minister of Justice. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, says when institutions have failed, us as citizens, we are guardians of constitutionalism. Which institution has failed, ladies and gentlemen? Our parliament has failed. Our judicial system has failed. So what do we need to do? We need to rise up and be counted. Because we are the defenders. We are the Voltron, the defenders of constitutionalism. Those of you who grew up in the 80s, Maizia Katunya and the Voltron, the defender of the universe. I am saying we are the defenders of constitutionalism. We are the guardians. We guard that thing generously. And we must demonstrate that by participating in civic mobilization. If any chance arises, pane a litigation iri kuitika, ladies and gentlemen, iri kuda kuitika, ladies and gentlemen, muchatapirirwa zvenyu kana tinge takuzoitaura nezvayo. And that right there is citizen participation. It's coming. And I will let you know kana zvinge zvasvika pazviri kufanira kunge zvichisvika ndokuudza kuti ichi musi uya musi wa 17 December 2025 Those are night lives. Litigation is important. And then, of course, there's international advocacy. Never lose sight of that. We are not in isolation. Zimbabwe is not a pariah state. Zimbabwe is not a jungle. We live among nations. We are a part of a family of nations. There's always something that can be done internationally. Put pressure on these people. Put pressure on them. Already we know what the African Charter says. Already we know what the SADC principles say. We know all those things. We can utilize that. We can arm ourselves. We can do everything that we can do in order to stand guard and defend constitutionalism. Because institutions have fallen. Institutions have fallen. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the rant, that I had for you today. I'm about to take, a step back. Ndo timuye henyu timbokurukura nyaya yatataura iyi. Kana paine vane mubvunzo tibvunzana tipindurana. But I'm not saying kuti I have all the knowledge. I just thought of this and I was like, okay, on the backdrop of seeing those, the woman in Nkulumane and that war veteran standing up and saying, no, we will not accept this. A thought just struck me and say, why can't we have a conversation about this and let everybody know, Kuti, don't be fooled and don't be lied to. Muchinzi handizo nyika yese iri behind 2030. It's a lie, a goddamn white lie or black lie, because that is not in the position. So when it comes to our constitution, ladies and gentlemen, the term limits are entrenched. We as citizens, we must resist any unlawful amendment. That is what we need to do. When it comes to the rule of law, let us know that our leaders are bound by law, and therefore we demand accountability. That is your duty. Know that leaders are bound by law, and your duty is to demand accountability. When it comes to the notion of democracy, we must make sure that we work towards preventing authority, the people that want to maintain their position, forever. And we must uphold the pluralism as a people, as a nation, as citizens. When it comes to the economy, you know that whenever there is a collapse of the economy, it is followed by misrule, and that is what we're experiencing right now in Zimbabwe. They are telling you whatever it is. Come on, how can we have a nation this Christmas? Everyone is just looking towards a donation. Everyone is looking towards a donation. Come on now, how can we have such a situation? So the collapse of an economy, ladies and gentlemen, is linked to misrule. Whatever it is, that is going on, that power is no longer the power that is that is being given by the constitution. No, it is the power that is being given by money. Don't let them fool you. Zimbabwe is creating billionaires. Where are the companies? Don't let them fool you. They mustn't even be fooling you. Don't let them fool you by them telling you that the economy is growing, like what that George Guamatanga was spewing a few days ago. There's nothing like that. That country is experiencing something that has never been experienced and explained in any economy that exists in this world. Zimbabwe, ever since the days of Gono, Zimbabwe has created its own economic, I don't know. And it's never, you can't even write a thesis on it. You can't even write a thesis on it. Because there's a failure. So we must advocate for reform. Reform, 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 reform. But remember, there are international norms that we can rely on. We have got the regional charters that prohibit these extensions in Snagana and Nemsoros Dawitwes. And our duty, in addition to be doing everything that I've spoken about, we must also be mobilizing regional solidarity. Let us mobilize that. Regional solidarity is important. You might say, they are a gentleman's club. Oh, but if that fails, ladies and gentlemen, we can go beyond the regional solidarity. So before I bring you guys, to speak in a minute, I'll conclude by saying this to you and me as citizens of our nation called Zimbabwe, the only nation that we have mukati pasi rose inonzi Zimbabwe, that teapot shaped country that you find in the southern region inonzi Zimbabwe. Vanhu vaMwari, as citizens, take this message, pass it on to your loved ones, to your haters, to whoever cares to listen to you. Tell them that Mnangagwa's proposed term extension, not only is it unconstitutional, not only is it undemocratic, but it is economically destructive. And a hammer on that. Economically destructive. A hammer on that. Urge your folks, urge the people in your orbit. Tell them that you and I, we have got a constitutional duty of resisting. And we need to make sure that this constitution that was born about 12 years ago is still in its infancy. And we need to be preserving that Zimbabwean constitutional and make it that Zimbabwean constitutional order. Let's preserve it. Let's make sure that we protect the legitimacy of our democratic institutions in Zimbabwe. We need to protect democracy in Zimbabwe. And we need to secure what I call economic or socio-economic justice for those who are to come, for the future generation. Because this fight is not for you only. This fight is not for me only, but this fight is for the present. This fight is for the future. We owe it to them. One day they will look back and say, our forefathers, they were stupid. We don't want that situation. So this right here is a future. For today future, for tomorrow future, and forever future. And make it a principle. Make it something that you believe in. To say, I am a citizen of Zimbabwe and I must resist. Whatever it is that is about to be happening in Zimbabwe, I must resist because it is unconstitutional, it is undemocratic, and it is economically destructive. And as a result, I need to preserve the Zimbabwe constitutional order. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you for listening to me.